Hi folks, the Filipina P here with the news. As always, it's been a busy week in the Philippines, and I'm here to bring you up to speed. We're gonna be talking about some alarming numbers regarding a nationwide health crisis, a new form of currency that'll revolutionize the way Filipinos spend money, a study that might make you think twice before putting toilet paper in your backside, and a surprising report about what Filipinos are secretly watching when you're not around. Our first story involves committing an offense that doesn't seem like it's anybody's business. Just like the panty laws we discussed last time, there's another weird law to be aware of. If you live in Manila, you might want to refrain from fooling around with your Filipina in a moving vehicle. Sounds strange, right? Now you might assume the law was passed to keep a driver's focus on the road, but that makes sense, and this is the Philippines, so guess again. The real reason is to maintain public decency. So don't worry about mowing down a bunch of pedestrians while getting a handy as long as no one sees, so you don't look indecent while receiving it. Once again, it's the Philippines. It's not about what it is, it's about what it looks like. And we don't want to see you kissing your girlfriend in public. In private, though, is another matter, which brings us to our next story. The figures for 2024 were just released, and they're shocking. Just shocking, I tell ya. What am I talking about? Well, apparently, we Filipinas are naughty, naughty, naughty. According to the most popular website for adult videos, there's only one country on the entire earth where the women are actually watching more than the men, and I bet you can guess which country it is. Filipinos account for 58% of adult content viewership, while only 42% are male. Now, one article states that's not something to be proud of, but at least we're not going out and getting pregnant most of the time. Not while we're watching the videos anyway. Usually. There's currently no reliable data on how many work hours are being wasted. But what are Filipinos doing while watching these erotic images? The world may never know. Now, because some of you are bound to ask, I'll save you the trouble. No, I don't watch porn. It's not because I'm a prude or because it offends me. I'm just not really interested in watching it. I live inside my own head instead of through my eyes, because imagination is much more powerful than sight. And now for some sobering news indeed, and I sure hope it doesn't have anything to do with our last story. After a 500% increase in the number of confirmed HIV cases between January and March, the Department of Health has called on the government to declare a national public health emergency. This rate of infection is the highest in the entire Western Pacific region, and the citizens are once again being reminded to not only get tested, but to use the necessary countermeasures to prevent the spread of the disease. This seems rather ironic in such a religious country, where premarital relations are supposedly frowned upon. But here we are. Filipinos are notoriously resistant to the idea of using condoms, and this is one of the results. Now, a word to you foreign visitors. The last thing on your mind might be a doggy downer like HIV, and I'm sure you're gonna be tempted by many maidens fair, but you're used to being the hunter, not the one being pursued. And it can be hard to say no when you've spent your whole life trying to get women to say yes. The situation is often reversed here, so you might become giddy with the new situation and forget to protect yourself. But if you don't wrap the bat, you shouldn't play ball. Just make sure you avoid disaster on your hunt for the perfect country girl of your dreams. And now for something right on the cutting edge of technology, at least for Filipinos. Last year, the country's central bank finished testing a prototype digital currency. It's kind of like cryptocurrency, except its value doesn't go up and down. It's tied to the actual value of a Philippine peso, and its introduction could totally transform our economy. But why? Well, the thing you have to remember is that most Filipinos don't even have bank accounts or credit cards, unlike in many other countries, where you barely use physical currency at all. We're a cash economy, and if you don't carry around a bunch of peso notes, you can't really buy very much. Yet. But with a digital peso, Filipinos can make transactions using Bluetooth and QR solutions, even without having a bank account, using offline wallets on their phones, which is something almost every Filipino does have. Transactions will be completed immediately, and people won't have to wait days for deposits to show up in their accounts. For many Filipinos, the digital peso will bypass the need for a bank account and make money transfers much simpler. The program is scheduled to begin in 2029, and the government plans to fine tune the project until then. After that, no one knows. And I have to admit that a digital currency makes me a little nervous. I want to be able to hold my money in my hand if I want to, and the thought of a random glitch or a sneaky hacker wiping out the wallet on my phone makes me a little worried about going digital. I know it's the way of the future, and I certainly hope it's a big success, but I think I'll bury some gold under my house just in case. And to my family and friends, let me remind you that I don't have any gold or even a house. So you can put those shovels down right now. But if digital currency wasn't high tech enough for you, check this out. Did you know that the Philippines has its own space agency? It was founded 6 years ago, but even before then, we'd already developed our very own satellite named Diwata 1. Launched in 2016, the satellite was an Earth observation platform designed to capture up close images of the Philippines from space, and what it revealed was amazing. It was long theorized that the Filipino population was evenly spread throughout the major cities, but the new photos showed giant clusters of people centered around Western Union money remittance centers and karaoke bars. For those of you who are denser than an asteroid, that was a joke. Diwata re-entered Earth's atmosphere in 2020 after a successful mission to collect data on weather patterns. Next, we have another story about modernizing the Philippines, and this one's no joke. Almost every visitor to our country immediately notices our spaghetti wires, the giant spiderweb of twisted power lines that hang from every street corner. I don't know if it's laziness or incompetence, but whatever it is, it's ugly, and it's everywhere throughout the Philippines. But just last month, the Manila city government decided to actually do something about the eyesore. Along with the electric company, crews began untangling the spaghetti wires after announcing that only functioning wires should be left hanging. Gee, you think? The initiative was part of its anti-urban blight program that was aimed at ensuring not only a prettier city, but also at improving safety. Now, you might wonder how putting metal ladders against a tangle of power lines is actually a safety measure, but I'll leave that to the professionals. Once work had gotten underway, citizens began to admire the progress and the fresh new look, and then the darndest thing happened. The entire surrounding area wanted their spaghetti wires removed too. It's almost like everyone said, "Hey, why didn't we think of that? Let's clean this crap up." The power company said it was even looking to bury the lines to make things even more secure, to protect the system from storms and potential blackouts. Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that the Philippines was actually on a path to progress. But it's the Philippines, so I won't hold my breath. Speaking of holding one's breath, let's turn our attention to a story about bathroom habits. Now, everyone knows about foreigners' love affair with toilet paper. The mere thought of being without it causes severe anxiety and even panic.
More TV! More TV! I need TV for my bunghole.
By contrast, most Filipinos use the Tabo system, which is like a bidet, without the water pressure. I'll let you figure it out. But which system is better? Well, there's research by the University of Florida that might tip the scales in favor of good old soap and water. After studying 21 major brands of toilet paper, now see, that's what I mean. You guys have 21 major brands? I wonder how many you'd have if you counted all the minor brands. Just how many brands do you need? Is there a difference? Can your bunghole tell the difference? In the Philippines, you're lucky to find any at all. And in a big store, you might actually find a couple different kinds. But that's about it. We can't afford it, don't use it, and don't care. Anyway, as it turns out, they discovered that the average American uses 57 pounds of toilet paper a year, And no matter what brand they use, it's got toxic chemicals that can cause everything from cancer to liver disease to testicular dysfunction, whatever that is. The study didn't say you absorb the chemicals from wiping, but that the used paper was causing water pollution that eventually caused illness. So make of that what you will, and choose your own preferred method of bum washing. I just really appreciate my own job right now because I'd much rather be making videos than inspecting used toilet paper for a living. I think. Our next story is a little closer to home. There's a recent article that accurately describes what it's like to be a Filipina who's the eldest daughter. And I want to take a minute to explain why being the firstborn female is probably the hardest of all. In Filipino culture, the eldest daughter, called the ate, is expected to take instructions from her mother from the time she can talk. She learns how to do housework, and once her mother has more kids, the eldest daughter is taught how to be a mom. She often helps raise the kids, and it's not uncommon for a Filipina to give up her childhood to take care of everyone else. She learns what'll be expected of her in order to be a good wife, minus the stuff about sex. And once she's a teenager, she's expected to stay close to home to safeguard her virtue, while the boys in the family get more freedom and a lot less responsibility. The thing is, it never ends. Once a Filipina can work, she's expected to provide for her entire family, and she often ends up supporting parents who retire in their 40s and 50s. She often works several jobs or goes overseas to make enough money to put her siblings through college and food on everyone's table at the same time for years. If you know a Filipina who's an eldest daughter, I bet she has something in common with the woman I just described. So I want to honor all the silent sacrifices being made by Filipina ates wherever they are. The Philippines would fall apart without you. And now for a bit of great news. Remember how last week I warned you about the WhatsApp scammers? They copy my profile image and they reply to your messages with a phone number? Well, it looks like finally, WhatsApp deleted almost 7 million scammer accounts. They found out that many of them were scam centers in Southeast Asia, where people were often abducted and forced to work there in horrible conditions. I've always asked you folks to report the phony accounts, and now I'm glad I did. Because as long as people fall for their crypto schemes, there's gonna be even more people forced to work there. Now I'm sure that the scammers will soon be using AI to do their dirty work because it's much cheaper and more efficient to have a million artificially intelligent scammers than it is to feed a bunch of prisoners. But I hope that at least for now, this move by WhatsApp really made a difference. Time will tell. Well, that's all for this episode. But join me again next week for the news. The Philippines keeps changing, and I'll be there to tell you about it. In the meantime, join me on Patreon. We have a lot of fun in the chat rooms where I talk to you in real time about whatever pops up, as well as answering your questions about the Philippines. Hope to see you there.
You know how cute I always thought you were.
If you think about it, I'm kind of like your lifeguard, keeping you from drowning in a sea of doubt about life in the Philippines. I won't let you dive right into the deep end without learning about our culture and customs. You can always count on me to take care of all the little details along the way. Wait, what is that in the pool? All right, everyone, out of the pool, out of the pool! We're gonna have to shut it down for weeks and get a hazmat crew in here. Oh, that's so disgusting. Which one of you subscribers did that?